VGK gets back on the winning track with a 4-1 win over the Coyotes. The Golden Knights now head on the road for a pair of games. And our WTF, What the Friday segment. It is all ahead on this Friday.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Crudasco along with Chris Golick. We come to you from Las Vegas each and every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. And again, you could find us wherever you find your podcast. And make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is Locked On Golden Knights. And on Twitter, at Locked On, well, it's around still, at Locked On VGK, at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris G. We are brought to you today by BetOnline, your number one source for all of your sports betting needs. For all your odds and lines, BetOnline, where the game starts. So Phil Kessel's 1,000th consecutive game, the milestone was celebrated last night, Chris, and you were there, and it really was not a distraction like it might have been, earlier this season. Alex Pietrangelo breaking the scoreless tie in the second period. Golden Knights added 3 more goals in the third, and en route to the 4-1 victory. Golden Knights, I thought that the difference in this game was outscoring their opponents in the second period. And of course, by your request, the power play goal last night, I know that you requested that. Special teams were very important. The PK, I think, was very important, especially when VGK had back-to-back penalties in the game. And the kills, they did very well on the penalties by Cotter and Whitecloud.
Yeah, so one thing I didn't know until the end of the game was I was listening to the postgame on the way home is Arizona is the 4th-ranked power play in the National Hockey League. Their penalty kill is the 7th-ranked penalty kill in the National Hockey League. So you think Arizona Coyotes, you don't think much. I mean, they're in a weird situation. They're on this very bizarre 14-game road trip that has them going home and not being home, and it's just the dumbest thing ever. We'll talk about. Might talk about that in segment 3, one of us, I'm assuming. But back to Arizona, like, they're not a doormat. I get the suck for Bedard type of thing happening, or tank for Bedard, however you want to say that, but they're not a bad team. They got a ton of young talent, there. And VGK, it was, it was weird. It was a strange game at first, and I wasn't feeling too happy about it. I was probably putting out some tweets that were a little more on the emotional side, like, is VGK playing down to Arizona's side? Is VGK playing, is Arizona playing up? Like, what's happening right here? Is VGK not that good? We might talk about that in segment 3 too. So I think Arizona deserves a little more credit than their record, is showing. And B, you got to give players something I've been saying all week. There's parity in the NHL. There is parity. It doesn't matter if you're the 32nd ranked team, the 27th ranked team, or the top team. Any team, any given night. And the Coyotes had a game plan to try and slow down VGK in the first, and it worked for a while. Arizona definitely was muddying up the middle, and it was a frustrating game to watch for a while. And then, the cream kind of rise to the top, and the floodgates opened in the third period, and VGK gets the cliche victory that they needed.
Okay, I think that they had a difficult time solving that 1-1-3 defense of Arizona because they weren't able to get pucks in and didn't have a lot of good quality shots, I don't believe, in that first period of play.
They doubled them up in shots pretty much, but it didn't feel like that at all.
No,
just watching the game.
Yeah, it did not look that way. Also, in 40 plus points for defensemen for the Vegas Golden Knights last night. Alex Pietrangelo,
points, hits.
No points minutes. Total this season. 40
total.
Plus.
Oh, God. Okay, my bad. Okay, I misunderstood what you were saying. Okay, that's awesome.
Okay, I know it's a little slow in translation. The fog hasn't rolled in yet. I usually sound better.
This is only the first cup of coffee, Tony. I need to deal with you.
The cloudier I am. Okay, so the defensemen on the season have 40 plus points. It was for the Petro Retro guy. It was the first goal by a defenseman at home on his goal last night. Talk about Alex Pietrangelo, 2 assists as well. The Carrier goal where he bulldozed his way in, and then the deflection. He had the shot right on the Mark Stone deflection, that was so much. I mean, that shows the skill level to me of Mark Stone, the way that he guided it in. And there was a little bit of a debate there, and that stick was not over the crossbar, not even close. And that lasted about 2 seconds with the Arizona bench.
Yeah, so Pietrangelo, power play goal, cracking a tough PK unit, and obviously the power play has been a sticking point. So it was nice to win the special teams battle, something VGK hasn't done a lot of lately, and it was just volume. Like I was actually tweeting during that power play, said it feels like it's coming right now. There was 2 high danger chances early on in that sequence, and then finally a VGK cracked it. And to the Will Carrier goal, I actually got Will Carrier after the game, and it was just me and him. Everyone was kind of elsewhere, so I shot my shot, Tony. My question to Will Carrier was, "Hey, when are you going to give Jack Eichel lessons on how to rush net and score goals?" And Will Carrier gave a fun, playful answer, and it was a fun exchange. And it was nice to see everyone just in general in a much better mood after the game. You had Cassidy up there kind of having a couple of one-liners and stuff in the post-game presser, and it was just a much less intensity, if you will, compared to Tuesday night and probably even Saturday night after the loss to the Blues.
Yeah, that Eichel pass again, supreme. I don't even know. I can't describe his passes. Just in finding Pietrangelo on the goal, and to me,
every one of his passes, Tony. Every one of his passes.
He just knows exactly he knows where everyone's at on the ice at all times. That's that hockey IQ that we always speak about. You also had a chance to talk with Logan Thompson after the game. The one thing that I like about, does he know who you are now? That he sent you that little?
Yes, he does. We had a moment afterwards.
Did he get on you for saying he's going to be traded?
No. So I mean, we'll start with the business side first. I asked Logan Thompson a similar question I asked to Cassidy, and that was about Marchessault's effect on the third period of the game, because he had a big hit on the one of the defensemen for the Coyotes, and he went after Marchie right away, and then Logan Thompson made a big save, and you had a bit of a scrum right in front of LT. Even LT was kind of involved a little bit, and it looked like the entire Coyotes line wanted a piece of Marchie, and that's what Marchie does, right? So that was what I wanted to keep it light last night, and that was my question to LT, and he basically echoed what I just said. He gets under people's skin, but he does a good job. And then after things kind of subside and people are walking around, I went back up to LT. I'm like, "Hey, I don't know if you recall, but some goofball made a comment and you responded with the donkey tweet, and I kind of shook my head." He's like, "Oh, it was fun. It was playful. He just mentioned he likes to mess around and stuff like that. He used a couple other words, but we'll leave it like that. But it was it was a good time. Like it was a smile. I didn't feel uncomfortable by it or anything like that, but I definitely wanted him to know,
Yeah. Oh, so the thing about LT that I'm impressed with is that, okay, he gave up a crappy goal, like that. I thought
it was weird.
It deflected off of Martinez, I think, and went in, right?
Yeah.
But he just seems like he's unfazed, right? Like a lot of goalies would be, "Oh, I should have had that shutout." Doesn't care, just wants the W. That's my opinion. That's my impression of how he is.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Allie or if it was the NBC5 reporter, but someone did ask about the shutout and stuff like that, and he's like, "Oh, that's hockey, no big deal," and that's the thing for someone who now has about 30-ish, 32, 33, whatever the number is right now, career starts in the NHL. He's playing above his age. He's playing above his experience level, maybe, if we're going to use just a general work, professional type term. Wise beyond his years. But that said, he's not a young rookie. I think he's like 25 or something like that right now. And again, you look at his career path, you look at the things that he's done. I mean, no one knew who this guy was in the AHL. No one knew anything about him, obviously, except McCrimmon and stuff with their history and things like that. So he's on house money right now. Like, that's the thing. He's on house money with based on where his career was going. I mean, I think there was one time I want to say Jesse Granger had an article out where LT was contemplating doing some Uber and Uber Eats to make ends meet at one point, in the not terribly distant past. And then, fast forward, he's got a nice 6-figure contract that I think in a year and a half from now is going to morph into a very large, 8-figure long-term contract. So, he's certainly setting himself up for, I guess, that level of financial success, but more importantly, just the performance that he puts on the ice, that type of success level. And he's our goalie hero right now, right? He's the hero that we needed. And it's nice to see a goalie. And I don't want to take a shot at Robin Leonard, but I can't. It's nice to see a goalie that the team rallies around, and the team does rally around LT and Aiden Hill as well. And you just did not see that with Robin Leonard. And it's not necessarily a shot on Robin Leonard, just personalities sometimes are a little bit different, and different personalities mesh and clash. And, Aiden Hill and even Brossoit, to that matter, the team likes playing for him as well. And maybe it's all kind of starting to, come together in the net.
And he's very grateful. You have to say, you have to believe he's grateful to be, exactly where he's at right now. And he continues to work hard.
He seems like a good human. He seems like a good human and someone good to have around and interact with.
There was a scrap in this game. Liam O'Brien and Keegan Colasar. That was just the second fight.
That's my reaction to that fight. Go ahead.
It's just the second fight that VGK has had this season.
Oddly enough,
you would think that teams would go out, but Colasar, okay, 2 right crosses, and he was done. And they stopped the fight. He was about to get smeared.
Owen Krebs, I want to say, he pointed out that it was actually the third time those two players had a fight. So you would think there's like a bit of what's that? Yeah, that was the trilogy last night. That was the trilogy last night, folks. Oh my God.
0-3?
Yeah, he's definitely. But Colasar, like, he's just like, he's not a fighter. I don't think he even wants to be the fighter, but it's the role that will keep him on the ice to do that every now and then. And Cassidy even did mention in the post-game presser, Coley dropped the gloves and got the crowd into it. I'm saying to myself, no, the crowd did not get into that. That was a terrible fight. Come on. It was like, okay, I'm going to punch you a couple of times. You're going to punch me. The boys are going to tap the bench and we're going to get 5 minutes to relax. Like they stopped. Like, I still believe there's a place for fighting in the game. I think the energy level that it brings and the excitement and things like that, but there needs to be some emotion behind it for it to work. There has to be emotion, not just drop the glove. It's Rocky 3 when Sylvester Stallone and Thunder Lips / Hulk Hogan have their charity fight. Rocky says, hey, I'll hit you a couple times. I'll chase you around. You chase me around. We'll give him a little bit of a show. That's what that fight felt like last night. It was like, I'll hit you a couple times. You hit me a couple times. We'll hug each other until the refs break us up. Like, it was a pretend fight. It was manuscripted. It was, I don't know. It was just, whatever.
Marchessault actually came to the aid of Willie Carlson, of Mild Bill, because he got ramrodded up against the boards, and then Marchessault took exception, but O'Brien wanted a piece of Marchessault too, and Marchessault's talking a pretty big game and getting under everyone's skin, but yeah, that would be another mismatch too, I would think.
That was my question to Cassidy as well. I kind of doubled down a little bit last night. I was curious what Cassidy felt about Marchessault and what he brought to that game last night. A lot of energy in the third, right? Marchessault had a lot of energy in the third, was very getting under the Coyotes' skin, and that's basically what Coach Cassidy said. He also did mention he doesn't want him crossing that line. He didn't believe that Marchessault has taken a bad penalty yet, and he has taken bad penalties last year. He has taken a good chunk of bad penalties last year when things boiled over, but he's not the only one guilty of that in a tough season last year. Just simply stating what his history is. But Marchessault has a place, and there's a couple different versions of Marchessault, whether it's the physical one getting under people's skin, whether it's the one helping guide that misfits line, or the one sniping goal after goal after goal. And good player to have on your team, a lot of fun. He's our rat, right? He's our Brad Marchand minus a lot of the dumb things that guy does.
Yeah. And what was your other question to Coach Cassidy?
That was basically it. It was.
I thought you said you asked. Didn't you ask?
No, I said I doubled down. Meaning I asked the same
you doubled
question.
down.
There will be a WTF about the presser last night coming up though.
Okay, coming up next, VGK will be meeting Edmonton on Saturday night on the road. We preview that game next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your sports betting information, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From football to basketball to soccer to esports, we've got it all at BetOnline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those as well on BetOnline. We are always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Welcome back from Las Vegas. Make sure that you subscribe today. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Golden Knights, our YouTube channel, and leave your comments. As always, we really do appreciate everything that you bring to the table. And we'll get into some of your comments on WTF. It's always a lot of fun. Chris Golick and Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. And Chris, Golden Knights will be skating in Edmonton tomorrow night. They face Connor McDavid and the Oilers. The goalies are Stuart Skinner and Jack Campbell, and they are not getting the job done. It's one of the areas, and VGK has to jump on the oil early in this game because they are not good the past few games. And at home, on home ice, the opponents are scoring first 60% of the time. And if you score first, we know that good things can happen.
Yeah, the Oilers, I mean, I think I said this during the week. The Oilers are having a very Oilers type season right now. Looking at they've scored 60 goals. For perspective, VGK scored 65. VGK is a plus 22 in the goal differential. So VGK has scored 65 goals to the opponent's 43. Edmonton, on the other hand, has scored 60 goals to the opponent's 61. So their goal differential is a -1, which obviously that's going to make it tough. Looking at some of the points scored, McDavid's already got 32 friggin' points in 17 games. Draisaitl 28 points. Zach Hyman even has 18 points. Like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins 17, and Evander Kane had 13 points in 14 games before his just terribly unfortunate injury that's going to keep him out for almost until the spring, it seems like, depending on how fast everything can heal there. So, this is a very Oilers type of season that we're watching right now. They can't stop anything. They can't play defense. But if it's going to be a 6-5 game, chances are you might come out on the wrong side of it. And this is not the proper medicine, if you will, to recipe to go deep into the playoffs trying to win games 6-5. It just doesn't, at some point that's not going to work. So Oilers are in a weird spot trying to figure things out. The Golden Knights can score very opportunistic goals. The Oilers are going to turn the puck over in odd places, and VGK is going to get a lot of chances this game. But Edmonton is a team you have to get on early because they can score quick, they can score fast, and they can also deliver that knockout punch that VGK has been unable to do until last night for a while. They can deliver that knockout punch sometimes, in the first period. So VGK has got to be ready for this one. They have to come out quick. And, this is a game where, again, you got to take care of business right now. You got to play your defense first. And if VGK can play a solid defensive game and limit turnovers in the neutral zone, keep the opportunistic opportunities to a minimum, then good things can happen on Saturday in Edmonton.
Shots on goal. This is via Sportsnet. Shots on goal were 11-1 for Tampa in the opening 10 minutes. Shots were 11-0 for Florida through the first 9 minutes. Wow. Shots were 12-2 in favor of Los Angeles through 13 minutes in the loss to the Kings. Kings played very well defensively in that game, came out on top 3-1. So again, to further punctuate what we're talking about, VGK has to get those shots on net early, but they have to break through and get that early lead. It's going to be really important. That's got to be our number one key to this game.
Yeah, that's very fair. And you know what? There was again in the first period last night, there were some of those lazy shots that, just don't have much of a chance of going in. But on the road in a tough environment, even though Edmonton's not having the best season right now, as far as wins and losses go, this is not a bad game to take those shots early and often because they are having some goaltending issues, right? That's not going to plan, so to speak, even though they keep trying to address where's Mike Smith? Get him back. Maybe that'll get that team back on track. But take chances, shoot early, shoot often, spray and pray, whatever it is. This is a game where you might get 55 or 70 shot attempts and 45 of them hit the net. 28 of them might not be the most high danger of opportunities, but this is that game where maybe you take a few of those and maybe you get lucky.
So you said opportunistic opportunities. Okay, so Mr. Officially Official, you thought that there should have been a penalty shot last night? Was it Chandler Stevenson on the breakaway?
It was close. It was close, Tony. And credit the referee for perfect position. If you watch, I had the replay up on my phone, and the referee was exactly where you're supposed to be in a 4-man system. He's first of all, when the play is coming towards you and you're the back official, you're always skating backwards. Like if you are chasing the play skating forward in that system, you're doing it wrong. Now, in a 2-man system, like what I normally do, it's a little bit different, and I'm not 10% of what these guys can do on the ice. But the comment that I made was at first, like I thought penalty shot. And then when you kind of watch it a little bit closer, like it wasn't a clean break from the blue line, but Stevenson, I thought, made it a clean attempt that was disrupted at the end. So it wasn't a bad no call for a penalty shot, but my gut watching it from 250 feet away, 75 feet in the air, was a penalty shot. But then I also joked if I was the ref out there, I would have been way opposition, trailing the play, barely crossing the blue line as Stevenson got that shot up. So I'd be like, sure, penalty shot, whatever. Yeah. 50-50,
wasn't that on a feed from Jack Eichel breaking out? I think
it might have been. I honestly don't remember, but it wouldn't surprise me.
A saucer pass. Yeah, ahead, on the ice, and yeah, they had that breakaway opportunity. Connor McDavid back to Edmonton, 32 points, 15 goals, 17 assists. He's just outstanding and consistent. And already, he's already scoring points. He recently had his 500th career game. He's been scoreless the last 2 games. That's of concern to me because of the do factor in this game. There's going to be a ton of open ice, right? I'm looking for a high scoring game, and I just think that it's going to be you just up and down the ice all night.
VGK is going to have the open ice. If they do what their system is supposed to do, they're going to limit the opportunities to cross the middle of the ice. And that's what they did last night with Arizona. Arizona did not have a lot of opportunities that were generated from the neutral zone. Arizona did have a lot of bang plays, and LT was needed early to keep the game on this, tied until VGK broke that tie in the second. But, good job by the VGK keeping the middle of the ice quiet. Now, you got Connor McDavid, you got Leon Draisaitl, you got so many other amazing, talented players. The system is still a system. Doesn't matter who you're playing, but sure, there'll be a little more open ice. But if VGK does what they're supposed to do, McDavid's going to be on the outside. They're going to try their best to keep him on the offside of the ice. Maybe his not non-dominant hand, but it doesn't matter. Dude can score from anywhere. But VGK has in the past also slowed McDavid down. You're going to chip at him at the neutral zone. You're going to clutch him a little bit. You're going to grab him a little bit. You might take not a dumb penalty, but you might take an interference penalty doing so. But you have to have a body on him at all times when he does not have the puck. When he makes that pass, you have to finish your check. You have to do something to disrupt his rhythm. And I think early in the game, that's exactly what you're going to see. You're going to see people doing anything that they possibly can to just slightly disrupt the rhythm. We've talked about breakouts. We've talked about power play entry. It's all about rhythm and timing and speed. And when you disrupt any part of that, then the entire breakout can falter for a moment.
My clock tells me that it should be Aiden Hill in net. Is it his turn to play against Edmonton?
Saturdays.
Okay. So you think that why not come back with LT? I would. No.
Nope. There's a plan, Tony. There's a plan.
There's a plan. You could put Hill in net against the Canucks. No, you don't.
I hear what you're saying there, and I'm not against that either. But honestly, I think there's a plan that they're sticking with. It's a plan that's worked for both goalies, and Edmonton. Okay, so this goes. What's the tougher game, Edmonton or Vancouver? The answer obviously is going to be Vancouver. So if you put your 1A goalie in against the worst team, you are hopefully not assuring, and nothing is a sure bet, but you are giving your team the best opportunity to win, the second half of the road trip. So why not come out with your 1B goalie? And, if you can win the game in Edmonton, then great. You're in a good shot to, get a nice little winning streak coming back to home ice next Wednesday.
Okay, prediction time. And I know how much the fans enjoy my predictions, but last night we were both spot on. We both said 3-1 VGK. I'll go first. I'll say 5-4 Edmonton, high scoring affair. I think if it's Aiden Hill, I think he's about to get shelled. Sooner or later, he will get shelled.
I think VGK continues their road scoring, but also their road defense has lacked a little bit. So I think I'm feeling 6-3. I'm feeling a lot of goals tomorrow night. I'm feeling 6-3 VGK.
VGK. Okay.
6-3 VGK.
Coming up next.
They played well on the road, Tony. I mean, they've played very well on the road. Better at home on the road than at home.
Coming up next, we're going to take a look, of course, at our WTF, the comments from all of you that are out there. We even had a last call, the only last call in Las Vegas this morning, leading up to this, because we wanted to get in some late shots from all of our fans out there, VGK fans, not fans of ours. Coming up next, it's WT Friday right here. We don't have It's WT Friday. What the Friday? WTF coming up next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Thank you for making Locked On Golden Knights your first listen. For your next listen, make sure to check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on the Odyssey app, on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Boy's got a little funky there, Chris. I got to preserve this a little bit for this big basketball week here for me. It's time for WTF. What the Friday, and I'm going to yield and let you go first, since you got a lot of things. If I feel you have stewing today, so before we have to nip them in the butt, I think I'll let you go first.
I think stewing is my stomach. I'm hungry. I need breakfast yet, but was enjoying the cookies in the media dining hall last night. Oh my goodness, those shout out for those cookies. Whoever got those, oh, so good, so good. It's a tough life. Someone's got to do it, folks. Someone's got to do it. All right, so my first WTF is to myself and all the media covering last night's game. We obviously there's a few more media members than normal from what I've seen there. Obviously, Phil Kessel's 1,000th consecutive game, which is just a remarkable nothing's unrepeatable, but it's unrepeatable. And I asked about March's, so all the other media members asked about different things that happened in the game, but not one person last night in Bruce Cassidy's post-game presser brought up Kessel, and just to give him a chance for a soundbite for the 1,000th game and all that. And it was on my mind after my question. They were kind of going around the room, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for a second one. But the gentleman that kind of runs everything announced 1, 2, 3, and we're done after that. So I didn't obviously go for it. But all of us missed an opportunity last night to let Coach Cassidy just kind of talk about what influence that Kessel has had and the excitement of 1,000 career games, and what that influence is in the locker room and things like that. But every one of us missed the boat, folks, present company included. So my first WTF is a bit of a layup for the media for not just getting one question in about Kessel last night. So WTF myself and everyone else at the game last night.
Okay, I'm going to go overseas, and since I'm pretty big across the pond right now, I'm going to go to the Premier League and Bournemouth. Okay, so they had tickets on sale for their upcoming game from $5 to $20. They weren't very expensive for their upcoming game. So $5 to $20 to see the Premier League, Bournemouth, the Cherries. Don't let Bill Foley see these ticket prices, okay? Because he's going to jack them way up. They want to, again, expand all of their facilities and their training facilities, and eventually maybe perhaps build a new stadium. I haven't delved into what the concession prices are like, but right now for Bournemouth, you could go to a soccer game, a little football there in merry old England, for just maybe $20, $5 in the cheap seats, all that. Do not let Bill Foley see the ticket prices, because he'll try to match what the fans are spending and paying for the Vegas Golden Knights. WTF, do not let Bill Foley see the pricing for tickets in England.
Maybe he'll be an influencer and he'll lower the VGK tickets. No. All right, so another WTF for myself right now. So I'm just going through my early tweets. let's see here. First of all, it's early. VGK needs to clean up the area in front of the net. Okay, fine, whatever. And then let's see here. What else do we got here? A lot of momentum, blah, blah, blah. VGK out shooting. VGK out shooting, but it doesn't feel like they're dominating. Let's keep going here. Is VGK playing down to the Coyotes level, or are the Coyotes playing up? I put a tweet out. Are the Vegas Golden Knights not as good as we thought? I'm drinking like a lot of this negativity right now, and it's unfortunate because I know, Tony, I know it's the fog. It comes through the vents on my laptop, on my computer back here that I'm recording on. But point being, it's a 13-4 now, 14-14 if my math is correct, and yet I'm up here being like a lot of the fans are right now, just like panicking. Like, I get it, there's more accountability right now, and when the team's not doing well, it's a different team versus what Pete DeBoer has had as far as the way he handled losses and kind of that happy-go-lucky attitude. But just we all got to relax and enjoy it a little bit and understand that there's so much parity in the NHL, even the Arizona Coyotes, who, again, very good special teams, and they played a good game last night. So fans, just relax, sit back, enjoy the show. Things are going much better than whatever the plan was, whatever I thought, whatever Tony thought, whatever any of you thought through the first 17, 18, whatever the math is right now. So WTF myself, relax, enjoy the ride.
WTF, bad ice only exists on the road. WTF.
It was weird last night.
Yeah, you said that there were some wipeouts, huh?
There was a couple blowouts last night, and it just looked a little, I don't know. I don't think it was bad, but maybe just a couple weird, untimely falls.
We've got from Ryan Dunkel. He said, we need Tony to start picking the other teams to win again, like I'm doing tomorrow night. His positivity is a jinx. Thank you in advance.
So I
love these comments. WTF.
Darren, I'm going to back up Darren Millard on the pregame last night. So there's a reasonable chance, depending on how things settle, that Connor Bedard, a possible all-generation, all-world talent, is going to go to the Arizona Coyotes, depending on what happens with the lottery and the records, and a lot of things have to fall into place. But you're telling me that we're going to have a potential Connor McDavid, Ovechkin, Crosby, McKinnon, Austin Matthews type anchoring the Arizona Coyotes, playing in Mullet Arena for 4,000 or 5,000 fans, whatever that number is. How is that? And again, this is Darren Millard, I'm stealing his right now and echoing it. I heard this on the pregame last night, but how is that good for the NHL? So the NHL, however this whole thing happened with the Arizona Coyotes playing in this auditorium on some college campus, this is an absolute fail. And now they're going to pay an absolutely terrible price unless they pull out the old dry ice when they're reaching in and pulling out the stuff to make sure they grab the nicks, But so yeah, just WTF NHL. How did this happen in Arizona?
It's rigged. It's rigged.
Right there, you go. It might be rigged against them.
Well, they put them on a 14-game. Put them on a 14-game road swing. Come on. Really.
This whole thing is just,
this is so rigged.
Dumb. It's just so dumb. I can't think of a better word. I know dumb probably isn't the best word to say, but I'm going to say that.
What are they doing? They're building the locker rooms there. Who cares?
Yeah, they're taking down the pipe and drape that they were using for the first few games. Like, how does this happen? Like, the NHL is in a good place financially. Things are going well. This is an absolute fail. So WTF NHL, what are you doing?
WTF. This is from Tim Ward at _guy 448. WTF is up with the schedule. One night I have 700 games.
I saw that this morning.
And the next night, nothing. 32 teams, 82 games each. Come on. It can't be that hard to balance it. He's right. WTF. I had a WTF, and I had a lot of fans come at me last night. I drew the ire of fans because I said that I want VGK to play a game in the gold buckets. Fans just now I'm like missing those stupid buckets. I hate them so much. I despise them. But of course, I had to get the fans riled up last night. WTF. We had to do that. Wausau Aaron, one of our good friends.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm fired up. WTF is with some of the VGK fans clamoring for an enforcer.
I was
This
just
isn't the
going for that.
70s or 80s. Having someone chew up the penalty box minutes, allowing the more skilled teams to cherry pick shorthanded defenses isn't winning hockey. WTF.
And to echo that, like I said, fighting still has a place in the game, and you're getting some different players doing it now. I mean, Cody Glass had a fight, for crying out loud, with the Predators. Like, that maybe shows how his game is going if he's fighting to stay in the lineup. But sorry for the bad chirp there, Cody Glass. Nice guy. But enforcers do have a place in the game, but it's the Tom Wilson type and people along those lines who can contribute on the offensive side of the puck. Ryan Reeves, there's stories about his diminishing role in New York. And I mean, we got a 3rd-round pick, I believe, back for Ryan Reeves in that trade, folks. Keep that in mind for those, shooting their shots all the time at the GM of the year, in my opinion, Kelly McCrimmon, in my unbiased opinion. But, Milan Lucic, I mean, he's carved out a nice long career, but someone like that, they break into the AHL now. No, they are a lifetime AHL player. They are a lifetime AHL player protecting those kids against the other goons. And that's really the ceiling of these people that fight and hit first versus trying to make contributions as the outcome of the game goes, having some level of relevancy beyond just putting hits out there. So, WTF, I'll back up Tony and Aaron, saying that, hey, I think it's becoming a lost arts. And I mean, it's 4 skill lines now. It's 4 skill lines or 3 skill lines and energy line, like in the VGK's case. And the one fighter that VGK has does not want to fight. I can confidently say that.
Yeah, he didn't. He looked defeated because O'Brien was chirping at him in the penalty box, and he just didn't even want any of that nonsense. So, yeah, I don't think he wants to fight at all.
Let me get a quick shout out and really fast here. I put this out there. When I sit upstairs, I get sometimes I had the Arizona Coyotes people right behind me. Between whistles, we were actually sharing some light moments and kind of gabbing a little bit. That was pretty cool. But the best part was actually sitting below the stat trackers. And a lot of them are my friends. They're officials here in town. You had some AHL officials actually up there as well doing it, and they're calling out shot 61 from the location, block 47, pass 12. Shot attempt, shot block, and the communication that these fellas had was absolutely remarkable listening to, and it really gave me just a different perspective of the game. So shout out to all my colleagues, if you will, on the ice who are just another part of the entire presentation that is a National Hockey League game.
And a WTF goes out to Kelly McCrimmon, only doing interviews like George McPhee in Canada. That's it.
Fair.
They just do one-on-ones.
Fair.
Nothing for us here. Chris, do you have a busy hockey weekend coming up? VGK's out of town. Silver Knights in town this weekend.
I don't even know if we're going to Silver Knights on Saturday. I think we're going to do a family thing at the library on Saturday afternoon.
That's awfully nice. Okay.
I need a break from hockey. We got a big week next week.
Yeah, I got a lot of hoops coming up, as I mentioned. And next week, there's a 3-day tournament, the Vegas 4, going on over at the Dollar Loan Center. And I'll be calling play-by-play of all those games. It's going to be a blast. Chris, have a great weekend. It's good to see you. Good to see you up in the press box. Good to see you eating all those snacks and cookies.
So good.
Have a great weekend.
Tough life.
For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We thank you all for tuning in. See you again Monday right here on Locked On Golden Knights.